It was a want to. This was a statement game that anything they put their minds to, they can accomplish it. They just got to keep that same mindset, same players, it's the same people in the play. You know what I'm saying? The same people went out there and played, but it was a different attitude on how they approached the game.
Oh yeah. It is a game-winning Tuesday after the Eagles take care of business last night in emphatic fashion over the Vikings.
I can't hear it because your GAN wagon keeps on revving its tires up, man.
Boop, boop. Let's go. Barrett, you're on. You're invited. You're already.
I was already on with you. Remember?
I know, you're in. I'm sorry. You're the co-pilot. You are my co-pilot.
And D Gun he was halfway off. He was holding on by an arm, swinging in the back like this.
So you want to get on fully, Derek, or where are you?
Oh heck, no. See, I was hanging by my hands on the rails before last night's game. Right now, my elbows are over the rail, so I'm like this.
You're like this.
No, I'm not on that wagon yet. No, this is one game.
Okay.
It was by far much better than that first game, but I'm not there yet. It's just one game, 15 to go.
Fair enough. But welcome in, everybody. Sports Take on this Tuesday. Man, it feels so much better after the Eagles win. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. That was dominance, fellas. I know it was only 24-7. If you didn't see the game, you'd say, maybe it was close for a while. Minnesota kind of hung around. And did the Eagles let their foot off the gas pedal a little bit maybe in the second half? Yeah, but what you needed to know in that game was Jalen Hurts was magnificent. This was the coming out party, the best game of his career, and the defense basically shut down Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen et al. To the point where they only put up a 7 spot. That was fun, and that was impressive, guys.
That's the best quarterback play I've seen since the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's how good the quarterback play was. It was just an attitude yesterday, an attitude and a want to be great by everybody. It was a want to. This was a statement game that anything they put their minds to, they can accomplish it. They just got to keep that same mindset, same players, it's the same people in the play. You know what I'm saying? The same people went out there and played, but it was a different attitude on how they approached the game. Just like you say, Slay came with an attitude that, he would not be denied. He would not be stopped. And if you have that attitude, you can do anything. The offensive line, we will not get our butts kicked today. I said butts, Mom. We will not get our butts kicked today. The defensive line, we're going to get pressure on Cousins. It was just a mindset and attitude out there. That's what you saw, man. It was the players have always been there. It's just the attitude changed while they were out there.
You know what I think it was, Barrett? I think it was we won the game week 1, but we weren't happy with the way we won the game week 1. And we're going to show everybody what we really are. Derek, that was absolute command from the quarterback. He was in utter command of everything last night.
No question. He had lanes to throw to. He had enough time. If his first read wasn't open, he went to the second and third progressions. He only missed on 5 passes last night. What more could you ask from this man? He ran for 2 touchdowns, threw a beautiful deep strike to Quez Watkins for another touchdown. Obviously, he knew he was on the stage. He knew that people wanted to see if this is truly a new and improved Jalen Hurts. He went out there and balled out last night. You have to give him all the props in the world for what he was able to do, how he commanded the pressure, and even what little pressure Minnesota put on him, which I was shocked Ed Donatello didn't ramp up the blitzes more. He basically stuck with his 4-man rush, which surprised me that he never changed up the zone concept.
That's him.
That's unbelievable. That's what Seth said. And he said, Ed Donatello gets all these accolades for being this great defensive mind. Basically, he's been hanging around the game because of people he knew, and he's been in the game so long, but he's never changed his concept of playing as though he doesn't change up. That's what got him fired in Green Bay, and that's going to get him fired in Minnesota. Yeah. And
I was with him in Green Bay.
And he stunk in Green Bay. He had one good year in Green Bay, and it was all downhill after that. It's going to get him fired in Minnesota if he doesn't change. Because he had to come out of that zone. You can't just sit back there and let him pick you apart like that in the zone.
Well, you can pick your poison with that, because I think if they didn't went man to man, it'd have been worse. It'd have been worse. For sure it'd have been worse, because they don't have the horses to run the race like to have them go out there and cover man. There's two, And that's the problem right there. Like
they don't have what the Eagles have to be able to cover man.
Exactly. So that's why I was confident, and that's why I try to break down with this defense. I could see them going man to man with anybody on the field. You know, Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, C.J. Garner-Johnson. You know, just like they did with Slay, they could go man to man across the board, and you don't worry about them being able to cover. It was just the guys up front. The big guys up front needed to come to the party. You know what I'm saying? They needed to come to the party. They need to come stag too. They need to come by themselves. You know what I mean? They didn't need anybody else. They didn't bring sand to the beach. They need to come by themselves and pick up somebody while you're at the party. You know, take one of them offensive linemen out and dump them on their head. That's what they needed to do.
Well, that's why I said I don't understand why Donatel, if you know why he didn't put more pressure, send more people. You know, just initially.
He could afford to.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, but see, okay, does Detroit have better defensive personnel?
Yes.
Than Minnesota across
Absolutely.
the board? Across the board.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do.
Because Detroit didn't care whether the Eagles were scoring points or not. Detroit had a mindset. They were coming to expedite the process. Okay.
Well, D-Gun, you told us.
This dude sat back and just said, he killed his 4 men. He killed his 4 guys up front.
Well, you don't want to say it. You don't want to say it. You don't want to broke it down to me. And I went back and watched film on it.
Right,
And you were exactly right. You said that this team was based off their linebackers.
Exactly.
Their linebackers.
Exactly.
If their linebackers can't play well, then they wouldn't play well. That's what you told me.
Yeah,
so
but you got to send one. You got Eric Kendricks, Jordan Hicks. Now Za'Darius is more like a Hakeem Reddick type.
Yep.
Yeah, he's more like a Hakeem Reddick. But you got to send an extra man at least a couple times.
Well, if they did that, they really got ripped because
maybe so.
They didn't have anybody to cover. Like the Eagles, Jalen Hurts dispersed the ball so evenly.
Yeah, I think this is more of an Eagles thing than it is a Vikings thing.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no question this was not the A.J. Brown show.
No.
Look at the first series of the game. 3 different running backs touched the ball. 4 different wide receivers caught passes on that first scoring drive. Okay. And that was the theme for this offense all night. They dispersed the ball equally across the board. Everybody got to tell. He had 8 different receivers in this game last night.
He had 4 receivers with 69 plus yards
Absolutely.
receiving.
Well, look at this. Ed Donatello, when he was with Green Bay when I was there, he had some horses running the race. He had guys like Joe Johnson. Remember Joe Johnson?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's my cousin. That's actually my 3rd cousin.
Really?
He was there. They had Holiday. They had Gilbert Brown. They had guys that could go one-on-one and beat guys one-on-one. He didn't have that up front. I just kept telling Hunter's good, but Hunter's kind of, past his prime right now. He couldn't generate pressure with the guys up front, and that's what he could do. Remember Vonnie Holiday, how good he was?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He had him coming off the edge. So, and he also had what's his name? With the funny name, Akbar. DGGB, something like that.
KGB.
KGB. They had KGB there.
Yeah.
They had guys that could come, that could mix it up. He didn't have that here in with the Vikings. He couldn't get anything going because he didn't have those horses up front.
Right, and you're also dealing with a really good offensive line. They made adjustments. Exactly. I mean, this again. I think this is an Eagles thing more than it's on the Vikings stuff.
Right,
but I mean, they made the adjustments with pass protection that they didn't last week, and they're already dominant in the run game. And the quarterback played as well as a quarterback can play. I mean, that was unbelievable.
We're not even crying about the number of penalties we had. Look how much wasted yards we might have had. Probably 100 yards in penalties.
It's 18 penalties in 2 games now.
Bro, they'll
clean it up.
And it was more so timing. Those were timing things there, off the line.
That happened at the beginning of last season. Remember, they had an abundance of penalties the first couple of games, and they ironed it out. Exactly. They'll get it right. They'll get that right. But it's funny you should mention the offensive line play, Rob, because we had Lane Johnson on after every game, and so one of the first questions I asked Lane, because Barrett brought it up yesterday on the show, and he brought it up last week. I said, Lane, how much did Jeff Stoutland chew you guys out over the past 8 days? And his answer was, D-Gun, I wish I had a tape recorder so you could hear what he was saying. He said, this is a man who expects high standards. And when you don't live up to the highest standards, you're going to hear about it. And yes, we heard about it all week long. Yep. He says, if you could have been a fly on the wall, you'd heard some choice conversations with Jeff Stoutland.
I believe it. And that's an accountability group. But Kelsey, every chance he could last week, put it on him. put it on himself. And that's what those guys do. So I'm not surprised one bit that they got their act together. But, we've seen good games from Hurts. We've seen moments from Hurts where we're blown away, but we haven't seen him put it all together like that where, think about what was on full display. The ability to throw a deep ball, you mentioned, D-Gun, to Watkins. The ability to drop it in the bucket, like the one that Goddard should have caught. Do you remember that one?
That was his best throw.
Yes,
incredible throw. That was there.
They had a guy over the top, a guy underneath. He dropped the rainbow right in his pocket.
Perfect.
And the guy knocked it away as he was falling to the ground. I thought that was his best throw of the night.
Yeah.
Out of all the great throws he made.
No doubt. The ability on the RPO to know when to keep, when not to keep on the first touchdown, which wasn't a super long one, but he keeps it. You see the ability to cut, make a guy miss, drag guys in the end zone. And then you saw it on the later run where he's dragging 3-4 guys 5-7 yards. He's so damn strong on top of everything else.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, you just knew that guys were held accountable for their play. You knew they were going to clean up the missed tackles on defense. You knew they were going to clean up the missed tackles. Assignment bust they were going to clean up. There's a lot of times that the defense didn't look right because guys didn't know where they were supposed to be. Like, say what you want to say, C.J. Garner-Johnson, he played a good game last week, but he just didn't know where he was supposed to be at times, which hurt him. He didn't know where his run fit was because his safety. He wasn't, he didn't play safety while he was with the Saints, the past 2 years. So he just had to learn what he needed to do. And once he figured it out, he's figuring it out, he's where he's supposed to be. And when he gets there with a purpose. He gets there with an attitude, man. He really does. So, I can only see his game becoming better and better. I can see those, Bradbury and what really set us apart was Slay's. I heard with Slay at the end of the game. Slay said, look, he's the best in the world. But, hey, so am I.
Yeah.
And that attitude right there is what they need.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Lane Johnson knew he was going to get reamed out all week about not necessarily them being soft, but this is not the standards that we live up to, as an offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. Coach Stoutland was downright embarrassed of what he saw. So you saw the significant change in the way the attitude was there.
Yeah.
You saw Jordan Mailata. He came out there with a purpose. Lane Johnson came out there fired up. Kelsey's flying around. You have the athletes to be very good.
How about Goddard downfield blocking?
That's crazy. And it should have been holding on him, actually, on the DB anyways.
Yeah.
On the linebacker anyways. It should have been holding on him, but they didn't throw the flag, so he just turned around and blocked the guy. But it should have been holding on that play.
They had Cousins shook. Cousins was straight up shook in that game.
But that's the MO on him. If you get pressure on him up the middle, he's not the same quarterback. We can talk about the Eagles playing the perfect storm, but they gave the Vikings an opportunity to get back this game and make you sweat. A block kick, and of all people, Sippos runs down Patrick Peterson. That tells you how much of a step Patrick Peterson has lost. A ricochet interception, that should have been caught by Gainwell. And what is he doing? He throws floaters. You got a guy like Justin Jefferson. He's throwing dying quails up there. He didn't even put it in a position for Jefferson to compete for the ball. Mm-hmm. What the heck was he doing? It all was predicated by the Eagles getting pressure on the middle of him. That's the MO on Cousins. If you try to get him from the outside, he's going to do like a lot of good quarterbacks. He's going to step up and have an extra second to deliver. If you come at him from up the middle, that's not his ball game. He does not like to play that kind of football, and it showed last night.
Yeah.
Well, they say that, a lot of the times why he didn't play, my fault, Rob.
No, you're good. You're good.
A lot of times he didn't play great on Monday nights or play good on prime time games.
Yeah.
It's because he's one of those guys, that everything has to be perfect. He's caught in a routine, and anytime he gets out of that routine, he plays accordingly. He plays in that, all right, well, this is a change. I don't play well with change. I heard he's like one of those type of guys. I don't know what you call it. It's some type of it has a name, it's not like Rain Man or something, but kind of sort of in the same sense that everything has to be the same way every single. I gotta have Cheerios in the morning, dry Cheerios in the morning.
That's like somebody I know.
And either water or iced tea. It's that type of deal.
And no honey
I'm
nut
the Kirk
Cheerios.
Cousins of Sports Talk Radio.
No honey nut Cheerios. It's got to be dry
absolutely
Cheerios.
Not. We can't.
No, I'm just joshing with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm just joking with you, man. But
it's true.
It had more so to do everything that the defense and you know how they felt about the way they played needed to change, and they came out with an authoritative mindset that we're better than what we played, and we're going to show you we're better. We come in with a nasty attitude. It's that want-to, man. That's all it was. Yeah. Defense is nothing but want-to, and they came out and they wanted to kick their tail.
It was one of those atmospheres. Like, the place was on fire. Like, that really was playoff football.
OCD. That's what OCD. Okay, yeah. My fault. OCD.
That really was playoff football, though, last night. I mean, that had that sense, that feel to it. You had all the stars there last night on top of everything else. Right. You know, the other players from around the city there last night. But it was I mean, utter dominance. You think about it, like that easily could have been a game in the 40s for the Eagles, like somewhere in that neighborhood. And you're right, Barrett. Clean up the penalties. You know, there's things. There were at least 2 dropped interceptions. Like that could have been destruction. They're not there yet, but they took huge strides from week 1 to week 2. This was enormous.
2. Slay should have had 5 interceptions last night.
Yeah.
He could have made the Pro Bowl off that one game last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he definitely made the Pro Bowl off that one game because he literally dominated Jefferson. He dominated him. You know, there was nothing he could do.
Yeah.
You know, he was in his hip pocket the entire day. So, I mean, it just comes with an attitude, man. I love the attitude that they came out with. You could see in their eyes that they were dead set on playing the game of their lives. And they just got to keep playing like that, you know. And it's an attitude when you get on the field, you know, that the Steelers had when we won the Super Bowl.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait, what was
Fitness Rebel is correct.
You're right.
Wait, we agreed to sing if they won?
Yes, we did.
I thought there was another stipulation involved.
There was another stipulation.
There was? I thought it was just if they win.
I thought it was another stipulation.
I knew they were going to win. I knew they were going to win.
Yeah,
I think Fitness Rebel's right.
I picked the Eagles to win.
Yeah. I think we have to sing, guys. I think maybe we'll do it at the beginning of the next segment.
Rob just wants to sing because he wants everybody to know he also has a golden tone.
No, you're the singer of our group, of our band here, our trio. Yeah. You're the singer, D.
Yeah, if it was the Jackson 3, I'm Tito. All right.
I'm Jermaine.
I'm Tito. I don't sing.
Ooh,
I just play the guitar, bro.
Yeah,
I play the guitar.
Wow.
I hear it. So we will do it. We'll do it. We're men of our word.
Hey, did you say Xander says 750 likes?
Was that
can we
stipulation?
Do 750 likes?
That's how we. No, I would say that's a lot.
We're just gonna do it, man. You know, Fitness Rebel. You know, you say you want it. We're gonna.
Hey, how about we do this? How about today we set our all-time record for likes?
There we go.
The Eagles won last night. We're going to crush Eagles all day long, but let's crush the like button. What's our all-time record? Is it 500?
It was. Wait, what was it for me to sing? Wasn't it 350? It was 350 for me to sing. I know we've gotten close to 400 before.
All right, let's shoot for 4. 4 is a fair number. Let's see if we can get to 4 today. All right, let's do that. Let's see if we get to 4, peeps. Let's do this thing.
400 and we sing?
No, we'll sing anyway, I think. Yeah,
only if Barrett leads. Barrett has the lead.
Barrett has the lead. Barrett can lead it.
I mean, after all, he played for the Eagles, so he was there 4 years, so therefore he should know the fight song inside and out.
How about Barrett starts? I'll pick it up and then you close it out because you're the only real singer here.
What is this? Why? Come on, man.
Well, you play for the Eagles. I'm sure the lyrics up on the wall somewhere in the building.
Was it the same lyrics when I was playing? I don't think that song was even a song back then.
It wasn't as big then, but it was around.
It was just those guys. It was that band. What was that band? They had the you know.
With the banjos and stuff.
Yeah, banjos.
Skull and Bobby Manchur and the boys. Yes.
Yeah.
So all right, we will do that. We will sing today. But think about this. Like, there's so many like stats to dig into. Not to geek out too much here, but Kirk Cousins is your leading rusher with 20 yards.
Yep.
We haven't even gotten into it. Dalvin Cook was a total non-factor.
17 total yards.
17 yards, yeah.
Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 48 yards. That is dominance for the guy who's had more receiving yards than anybody the first 2 years of his career. Just owned him. Just completely owned him. Cousins stunk. He flat out stunk in that game. I mean, this was both sides of the ball, man. They couldn't do anything against the Eagles.
You held that offense to under 300 total yards of offense. You had 3 interceptions. Adam Thielen didn't even get a ball until the fourth quarter.
It was total garbage time with Thielen. It was
total garbage time with him. He was the leading receiver, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was the leading receiver. It was all late stuff. You put up almost 500 yards of offense against that team. I don't know if you can have a more perfect storm on a grand stage like Monday Night Football. I really don't.
It was that kind of it was that kind of performance, man. And look, I thought it was going to be close. I thought the Eagles would win. I told you I thought they'd kick a field goal late, and that's how they would win. I thought it was going to be that close a game. But
wait, a win is a win. I don't do all that.
No, I'm with you, Barrett. And you had them Eagles winning comfortably.
You know. But I think it's more so. I mean, just everything. Everybody played. I can't say it enough, and you're going to keep hearing me say it. Eagles played with a purpose. When you play with a purpose, it's easy to go out there and execute. They played with a purpose because they were downright embarrassed that they allowed 35 points on their defense. They were embarrassed that that they took that they let their quarterback get beat up the way they did. They were embarrassed because of that. Mm-hmm. So because of that, they played it enough. Look the way Sanders was running a pill, man, running a rock, and then we got to do it, man. We got to start giving our offensive coordinators some props, man.
Yeah, Steichen was hitting every right note.
Great game. And then when he was his way he had people coming in and out. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he sub here is Sanders, boom, boom, he's breaking it. 5 yards here, 6 yards here. And that's one thing we have to understand. A 3-yard run is not a bad run.
No.
Because you get a 3-yard run and then the 4-yard run, you're 3rd and 3.
Very manageable. And especially for a guy with Hurts wheels.
And you can make that happen, So we got to get out that every play has to be a big play. Every play has to be a home run play. No, just keep the chains moving. Mm-hmm. And then we turn around and I love the fact they called the draw play with Boston Scott.
Man, beautiful call. Beautiful.
And then all right, we're going to run it again.
Yep.
We're in the same
until they stop
again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, once Jalen Hurts start on the RPO, start tucking and running from the outside, that froze Minnesota's outside containment. Yep. All of a sudden, you got gaping holes up the middle because all the linebackers were flowing to Hurts going to the outside. All of a sudden, prime example, that draw play where he faked like he was going to pass it and handed it off to Boston Scott. Mm-hmm. Man, he had an alley to run through up the middle, man. And that was the theme for the whole night.
Yeah,
once Hurts hit him on the outside and hurt him a number of times running those RPOs, you know what? The running backs had lanes for days to run through.
Bro, I turned around and it was a play. It was an incomplete pass, but he tried to hit. I forget who it was underneath, and I saw in the back Quez Watkins going over the top. And as soon as Hurts let it go, I looked like, oh my God, look how he was wide. Look how Quez Watkins was wide open, going on a little 9 route. I was like, man, I can't believe how open he was. Turn back around. The very next play, they flipped the formation, put him on the other side, run the exact same play again, over the top, Quez Watkins by himself.
Out of a timeout. Yeah, mm-hmm. they saw it.
Yeah. So I'm like, bro. I said, because I was in there, oh, did you guys see Quez Watkins? I was in there, oh, did you guys see that? Mm-hmm. He said, yeah. So Pat went back and rewind and said, yeah, but he let the ball go. As soon as he let the ball go, that safety jumped that route. And Quez was like scoffing. I'm like, oh, he needs to hit that. He needs to hit that. Then went to a timeout, came back to the next play, flipped the formation. And I'll be darned if he wasn't wide open by himself. The same play, they just ran to the other side. That's being aware of what happened. Then download the information to Steichen. Walker's like, look, I'm beating them over the top. They can't compete with my speed. And Harrison Smith is just not that guy anymore. He used to be my favorite safety. He's just not that guy anymore, man.
He's been around a long time.
Yeah, all the time. I played on the same field as him, so he's old.
Yeah. No, well, I tell you what stands out to me, and look, this doesn't always translate into wins and everybody being on the same page. Huh?
I'm saying just playing. I never played against him.
Oh. I was doing the math in my head. I'm thinking,
no, that means he played like 16 years.
I've just been watching. He's probably in like his 13th year though. Around 12.
No question about that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm doing math. I'm like, wait a minute. Barrett played with Harrison Smith.
No.
There's still a few guys left. Brady, a couple other guys.
Brady, exactly. Brady, I played. Yeah, I was on the same field with him.
A few others. Yep. What stands out to me is how talented this team is.
Yep.
Across the board on both sides. I mean, you have an incredibly talented offensive line, receiving core, the upgrade from A.J. Brown, from Jalen Reagor's revenge game to A.J. Brown, to your running attack, to what you have at the quarterback, to the other side of the ball. And I still don't think the defensive line has hit their stride anywhere near it. But the linebackers, T.J. Edwards was out of his mind. He was shot out of a cannon last night. To your defensive backs. I mean, this is an across the board. I'm not telling you they're Buffalo or anything like that, but I'm just telling you, they're in any consideration in terms of a top 5 best roster. Well, they are that talented.
You ain't never lie. You ain't told nothing but the truth. But to what you're saying, man, the sky's the limit. But they got to keep the same attitude. I'll reference it again. When I played for the Steelers, as an attitude that when we were in practice, we were playing against the best players in the world. I'm going against Casey Hampton. I know there was no nose guard better than Casey Hampton. The one-on-one mental battles that Ben Roethlisberger had playing against Troy Polamalu, Ryan Clark, those type of guys. You had guys like San Antonio Holmes and you had great wide receivers out there with Hines Ward going against our secondary. And we're thinking, man, it's harder in practice than it is in games. And 9 times out of 10, it was because we felt as though our team was the best team. Our defensive line, man, it's easier going against guys that we don't have to practice it every day. That offensive line we had was amazing going against that defensive line. So once they get that type of attitude, like when they walk on the field, they know they're going to win, not because they're saying it, but because they're going out and executing it. It really bodes well.
It was all there last night. It was all there on full display. That's for sure. All right. So like I said, we're going to blow the Eagles out today. We'll do some NFL stuff as well. Bills rolled the Titans last night. I had 2 teams heading in 2 different directions, the Bills and the Titans, that's for sure. But we'll get into that. EJ Smith from the Philadelphia Inquirer, our good friend of the show, is going to be joining us next. We'll talk to EJ, get his thoughts on everything that went down. But that was one of those performances, and we see them every once in a while where you just kind of step back and say, "Whoa, man, this is what this team could potentially do." And they didn't beat up on some awful team either. Like you're talking about a team that came in riding high after beating the Packers the week before, and they crush them like that. That was impressive, man. So a lot more on the Birds. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take on this Eagles Tuesday. Yes, let's hit the lights. All right, knowing who to trust with your finances can be scary, and I am right there in the front of that line. But I can tell you from personal experience that someone I trust is Jim Murray with Principal Financial Group. For years, I was searching for the right person to know who to trust with my hard-earned money, and I found that right person, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business, not sure how to set up your employee benefits. He can help you with that. And if you have questions about anything else, he's there to counsel you and get you through it and steer you in the right direction. I've entrusted my IRA, some 401k rollovers with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You can be too. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751, or you can email him at Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com, Murray.Jim@principal.com.